Look at him. At 30 years old, this guy has completely won the game. He's got the money, the status, the perfect future, everything. He feels absolutely untouchable, like a god. He has no idea that in less than 60 seconds, a brutal, unpredictable force is going to rip his entire universe apart. No warning, no mercy, just pure chaos. Imagine opening your eyes and realizing everything you ever used to define yourself, your career, your money, your identity is just gone. His name was Zeno, and on this exact night, his entire life's work vanished into the sea. But this isn't some boring history lesson about an old shipwreck. This is a story about survival. It's about what happens when your world collapses, your brain redlines, and you have to face that heavy question we all secretly dread. Who the hell am I when everything is stripped away? We are tracing the steps of how a prince becomes a wise man, birthing a philosophy that saved emperors, warriors, and everyday people for generations. Even you and me. Welcome to Stories That Change Your Life, where we take timeless human wisdom and break it down into bite-sized philosophy to help you shatter toxic cycles, upgrade your daily routines, and reclaim your personal power. Let's do it. Long before the water swallowed his future, Zeno was running an empire built on a colour, Tyrian purple. Now, this wasn't just a colour, it was liquid power. To get just one tiny drop of this purple dye, workers had to crush thousands of rare sea snails and let them rot in huge vats under the blistering Mediterranean sun. It smelled toxic, the work was brutal, but the payoff? Unbelievable. A single purple cloak was worth its weight in pure silver. Kings wanted it. Zeno owned it. From the outside, he was a kingpin, but on the inside, his mind was caught in a relentless, exhausting trap. Every single day was consumed by a toxic loop of anxiety. He was obsessing over profit margins, looking over his shoulder at competitors, and stressing over things he couldn't control. He was running on a brutal treadmill. He believed his wealth made him bulletproof. He thought he owned the world. But his peace of mind was entirely built on quicksand. It's a crisp morning, and Zeno packs his absolute finest, most valuable cargo onto a massive ship. He steps onto the wooden deck and sets sail across the open Mediterranean, bound for Greece. If this trip lands, his wealth will double. The stakes couldn't be higher. As the land fades away, the atmosphere completely shifts. The temperature plummets. The air turns thick and heavy beneath the ship. The ocean begins to churn with eerie, violent energy. Zeno stands at the bow, watching a wall of pitch-black clouds swallow the sky, his heart hammering against his ribs. He is sailing straight into a nightmare. The sky splits open. A deafening roar echoes across the water as 40-foot waves slam into the wooden ship like a battering ram. Total blinding chaos. Wood groans, ropes snap, the crew screaming over the howling wind, fighting a losing battle against the ocean. In the middle of the panic stands Zeno. He watches in pure horror as freezing black water floods the deck, rushing down into the cargo holds. Millions of dollars of precious purple fabric, his entire empire, his past, his future is being swallowed by the sea. There's no saving it. There's no backup plan. In a matter of minutes, the ship cracks and tilts violently into the abyss. Zeno is thrown into the freezing void of the ocean. He gasps for air, fighting the current, watching his entire identity sink into the dark, silent depths. Silence. The storm passes. Zeno opens his eyes, coughing up salt water, sprawled out on the freezing beach. He is alive, but he stands up, dripping wet and shivering. The brutal reality hits him like a physical blow. He has no money, no status, no friends. A penniless refugee standing in a strange city with nothing but the tattered clothes on his back. His mind instantly flashes back to his cargo. The wealth that made him feel safe, gone, all of it, sitting at the bottom of the sea. This is the void. It is that exact moment the life you painstakingly planned for yourself completely shatters into a million pieces. It's the devastating text message, the sudden layoff, the breakup, the trauma that leaves you staring into a mirror and asking, if I'm not my success, if I'm not my career, then who the hell am I? Zeno is completely broken. His old self was dead. But right here, in the ashes of his greatest nightmare, something shifts. He doesn't give up. He has no idea that he's walking directly toward his rebirth. Wanders into a local bookstore, looking like a ghost. Inside, it's quiet, peaceful. The bookseller is reading aloud from a famous philosopher, Socrates. Zeno stops dead in his tracks. He listens to the words, and for the first time in weeks, the heavy, looping anxiety in his chest just stops. Astonished, asks, "Where can I find men who think like this?" The bookseller looks up, points out the window at a rugged, eccentric guy walking past and says, "Follow that man." That man was Crates. He was a philosopher who didn't care about money, luxury, or status. He lived in absolute simplicity, completely free from the mental traps that had kept Zeno anxious for years. Zeno rushed outside and begged to be his student. But Crates saw the lingering pride of the wealthy merchant prince hiding beneath the tattered clothes, and he knew that before you can build a resilient mind, you have to completely smash the ego. So Crates gave Zeno a test. He handed him a simple clay pot filled to the brim with hot lentil soup and said, "Carry this through the most crowded, fancy district of the city." The former billionaire, this was a waking nightmare. It was humiliating. Walking around with a pot of cheap soup was what beggars did. Zeno tried to hide it under his cloak, creeping along the walls, sweating with anxiety, desperately trying not to be seen. Crates watched him sneaking around. So he stepped up behind him and he smashed the clay pot with his walking stick. Crack! The pot shattered. Hot brown soup poured all down Zeno's legs in front of the entire crowd. Zeno froze, totally mortified, and started running away in absolute shame. But Crates yelled out after him, his voice echoing across the square. "Why run, my little friend? Nothing terrible has happened to you." That public humiliation was the turning point. Standing there, covered in soot, Zeno realized something profound that altered his brain chemistry forever. The embarrassment wasn't coming from the suit. It wasn't coming from the people staring at him. The pain was coming entirely from his own mind. He was choosing to let the opinions of total strangers dictate his internal peace. He realized that the shipwreck had taken his wealth, but it hadn't actually harmed him. The only things that could truly ruin his life were his own thoughts, his own judgments, and his own reactions. So, for the next 20 years, Zeno stayed in Athens. He stripped away his need for validation, healed his trauma, and reprogrammed his mind from scratch. He took the absolute best pieces of human wisdom and forged them into a bulletproof system for living. Zeno didn't hide away in some exclusive elite academy. Instead, an older, wiser, and completely transformed Zeno stepped out into the beating heart of the city. He gathered his students at a place called the Stoa, the painted porch. It was a massive, open-air structure right next to the chaotic marketplace. Anyone could walk up and listen. Kings, politicians, slaves, everyday people dragging their own emotional baggage through the square. The broken merchant prince was gone. In his place stood a master of life, teaching a raw, combat-tested blueprint for mental survival. Because he'd lost everything and survived, his words carried weight. They called them the Stoics. So here's the secret Zeno discovered that can break the cycles keeping you trapped today. Think of your life like it's split down the middle. On one side are things that you can't control. Your past, your trauma, your unexpected change, a business collapse, or the opinions of people around you. They are all the storm at sea. Obsessing over them, fighting them, and tying your self-worth to them. Think of it like your life is split down the middle. On one side are the things you can't control. Your past, your trauma, an unexpected event, a business collapse, or the opinions of people around you. They are the storm at sea. Obsessing over them, fighting them, and tying your self-worth to them is like trying to fight a wave. It just exhausts you. On the other side is the only thing you actually control. Your thoughts, your intentions, and your reactions right now, in this moment. Put these actions into practice today. You need 3 simple micro habits. 1. The soup test. The next time you feel anxious about making a mistake or worrying about what people think, pause. Ask yourself, is this real danger, or am I just terrified of a little spilled soup? Don't let total strangers control your nervous system. Habit 2. Love your fate. Stop wishing the storm didn't happen. Zeno looked back on his catastrophe later and said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered a shipwreck." Your greatest setback might just be the hard reset your soul actually needs to pivot. Habit 3, the filter. When a stressful situation hits your life today, ask, can I change this outcome right now? If the answer is no, drop it. It's out of your hands. Put 100% of your energy into your very next step. You are the author of your own internal peace. The world can shatter your plans, but it can never shatter your mind unless you give it permission. Step off the beach, shake off the salt water, and start rebuilding. If Zeno's story clicked something in place for you today, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Leave a comment below. Tell me your favorite part of the story or any questions to get the chat going. That would be amazing. And share this share it wherever, to be honest. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss out. Thank you for watching Stories That Change Your Life. Take care of your mind, protect your peace, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.